Sandhan. All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good noon, friends. Today's topic is Shakespeare's history plays. We all know that Shakespeare is not a writer of an age, but he is for all time. Little bit introduction. See, Shakespeare does not require any introduction, but for the beginning of the session, I would like to introduce some interesting facts about Shakespeare. He was born on 23rd of April 1564 and died on 23rd of April 1616. As you can see, his date of birth and the date of death is the same one, 23rd of April. He had 7 siblings, brothers and sisters, and 3 children. He married Anne Hathaway when he was 18 and she was 26. So you can find a huge gap between husband and wife. He wrote almost 37 plays and 154 sonnets. His plays includes tragedies, comedies, romances and history plays, whereas sonnets are love songs. Sometimes they are songs which are introduced in the comedies and history plays. Another interesting fact is Shakespeare is the second most quoted writer in the English language. And Shakespeare, as we all know, he studied life in a very close way. He studied the human psychology, and he was quoted many times, and almost you can find quotations of the Shakespeare in every situation of life. Even 400 years after the Shakespeare's death, there are 157 million pages referring to him on Google. If you surf and search for Shakespeare on google.com, you will find these many pages and information. About his plays, Shakespeare's shortest play is the Comedy of Errors and longest play is Hamlet, which takes almost 4 hours to perform. 2 of Shakespeare's plays were written entirely in verse, Richard II and King John. Both of them are history plays. Critics says, and his most discussed plays among the critics are King Lear and Hamlet, though it is very difficult to decide which is the best tragedy given by Shakespeare. Sometimes people have opinions about King Lear is the best tragedy, whereas sometimes they have opinions about the Hamlet. Here are some of the quotes about the Shakespeare. Robert Greene says, "This is an upstart crow, beautified with our feathers, in his own conceit, the only Shakespeare seen in the country. His epitaph is, good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spared the stones, and cursed be that moves by bones." About his plays and publication, the first folio. Shakespeare's plays are published into 2 different ways, in folio and quartets. The first folio, the primary source for most of Shakespeare's plays, was published by John Hemmings and Henry Condell in August 1623, 7 years after his death. This is the house of Shakespeare where he used to live, Stratford-upon-Avon. This is the Globe Theatre where all the Shakespearean plays were performed. You can see the structure of the theatre. It is completely open theatre and almost 3-storied building. The name of this theatre is Globe Theatre, which is burned down in 29th of June 1613 during the performance of Henry VIII, once again a history play by Shakespeare. The Globe Theatre had 3 stories and could hold up almost 3,000 spectators. The theatre has a symbolic flags according to the plays. Color coded flags were used outside the theatre to advertise of the type of the play to be performed: a red flag for history play, a white flag for comedy, and a black for a tragedy. A crest above the main entrance to the Globe Theatre was inscribed with motto Totus Mundus Agit Historianum, Latin, for the whole world is a playhouse. We all know Shakespeare introduced the world as a stage, and all the women and men and women are mere players. Everybody has their exist and entries. The Globe Theatre was shut down in 1642, as we all know, with the after the Charles II, Oliver Cromwell got the power in England in the Puritan age, and finally he shut down the theatre, and so all the theatrical activities were stopped. Now let us talk about his history plays and somewhat background of the history, how history is related to Shakespeare and how Shakespeare treated history into plays. Shakespearean history plays are distinct in subject matter and not in style. The histories provide an equal measures of tragedy and comedy. All the history plays are a mixture of comedy and tragedy. Sometimes they have comic interludes, and sometimes they have very serious action. Normally, all the plays of Shakespeare, history plays of Shakespeare, set against medieval English history. The Shakespeare histories dramatize the 100 Years' War with France. And Shakespeare did not just give a historical account, but he actually criticized the history and the kings before the Elizabethan period, and he almost recreated history in his own way. In a way, he tries to provide a different perspective to the people, to the audience of his own time, so that they can have a look at kings and princes and other courtier ranks, so that they can criticize and they can compare the England in the past and the England at the contemporary period of Shakespeare. As we have already discussed, his plays are historically not accurate. He wrote for the entertainment of the theatre, of the audience, and therefore molded historical events to suit their prejudices. Almost he modified in his own way, and there was a great period of literary writings, and Queen Elizabeth herself was fond of literary activities. So, and almost theatrical activities is specially meant for the entertainment of the audience. So he created history plays not with basically with the objective to entertain the people. History plays normally criticizes the social conditions of the people of that time. The history plays say more about Shakespeare's time than the medieval society in which they are set. It's a very important point to note that Shakespeare, while recreating history, he is not actually giving a historical account, but he is actually giving the original picture of his own contemporary society, so that people can have a critical argument, people can have a different perspective to look at the society, its problems, traditions, and other things. The plays explore the social structure of the time. Shakespeare's history plays offer a view of society that cuts right across the class system and portray a lowly beggar to the monarchs. The play, all the history plays include the characters from the lower class to the royal class, and it provides a very close observance to the class differences, and especially the way they use the language, the way they are treated each other, and many other things. So in a way, it's a very concise picture of the contemporary society of Shakespeare. Now, how history plays, or how Shakespeare himself was concerned with English history. You see, Shakespeare, once again, he never went to school, but he was the man of literature and language. We all know that. If we talk about his style, he is very popular, and when we talk about the when his style mingled with history, it's an interesting plays which came out. Shakespeare's idea of justice is very differed from retributive divide plan leading to the Tudor dynasty, and he questions the power, responsibility, and he also revolted with his some of the characters to the very authority of that particular period. He recreates history to provide different perspective to the people. Another concern, he recourse against a bad, weak, or easily swayed ruler. You will find a very good criticism on Richard III, or you can say Henry V, or Edward II. All these rulers in the past, and Shakespeare really questioned their attitude towards the ruling things, or the authenticity of their legacy and heritage. He also reacted against the bad or weakness of that particular ruler of that particular period. He also questions the succession of child rulers or of the female rules, that you see, in England at those period there was a great conflict between the among the kings and the other royalist people, that who will success the throne after the death of the king. And there were so many problems. If you we can take an example of Richard II, or we can have another example of Richard III, about the authenticity, about the heirness, that who should be the heir of the king, or who should be you see, coronated as the king in England. Now to get that, to achieve that position as a king, to achieve that throne, you will find so many you see, conspiracies and intrigues and so many schemes that are deployed by many kings, and sometimes they are proved very good for the people, and sometimes they are very, very personal. We can also find in the history play that how Shakespeare treated the personal revenge, or how sometimes the personal ambitions has been you see, deployed into the play to fulfill the objective of the Shakespearean perspective to look at the society. We will also find you see, war and national identity and military hardship. You see, people are always normally you see, concerned about the war and national identity, especially the war with France. You see, in at those time the relationship between England and France were not healthy, and so you see, we can find continuous conflict between England and France. You see, if we come down into the history, into the Restoration period, Charles II went to France you see, to save his life, and when he came back with the French attitude and lifestyle. So England was restored by the French lifestyle, but the very reason was that. And still you will find the, you see, we can find the conflict between English and French in literary criticism, or in also literary activities. Even today the conflict goes on. Now at those period we can find the problems with other you see, the problems of the nation with the other surrounding nations and the area. We can also find class conflict and popular unrest. You see, whether people are happy with the king or not, and every king has their own typicality. Shakespeare tried to show them on the stage. He presented them to the public so that public can have their own opinion. Now the class conflict is a very important factor when we discuss, and especially when he discussed the character Falstaff in Henry 1-2 part 1 and part 2. Now Henry IV part 1 and part 2. Now this Falstaff represent the very people of England, which are you know, in a way they are considered as a lower, or sometimes they are criminals, or sometimes they are victims of the happenings of the English court. Now we always find the people, you see, corrupt people like Falstaff, or we always find the poor people who are exploited by the king like Richard III, and you see, all this class conflict continuously is being presented in the play, almost in all the history plays. The popular unrest is continuous war, continuous ambitions for kingship, and many you see, war was never happy, and people were very dissatisfied with many kings, and so they revolted. And we can find, you see, the very political scenario of that England was not very much stable. So people actually was very disappointed with many kings, and so so many times in the history we can find they prepared their own army and revolted against the king. Now these are the Shakespeare's major history plays. The titles are Henry IV part 1 and Henry IV part 2. The next play is Henry V. The third one is Henry VI part 1, part 2 and part 3. Another play is Henry VIII. Then he has written King John, Richard II, and Richard III. These are the, you see, very major plays, history plays Shakespeare has written and performed at those time. This is the chronology of Shakespeare's history plays is history plays, and it is rather confusing because he chose to write first about those monarchs who came later. Now on one side of the chart you can find order of monarchs, and on the other side of the chart you can find order of the plays. Now if we look at the order of monarchs, we find years of reign. The first king was King John. That was the play written by Shakespeare and performed in the year 1590 to 97, whereas his ruling period is before 1377. Then came the other kings, and then we have Richard II. The original period of ruling, the year of reigns are 1399 to 1413. Then we have the Henry period, Henry IV, 1399 to 1413, and 1413 to 1422 is Henry V. Where if we look at the play, we can find Richard II was performed first, then Henry IV, and then Henry V. Now you see the kings Richard III and Henry VII, which came after Henry IV, V, and Richard II. They were written before the plays of Richard II, Henry IV, and Henry V. See the plays, it's very clear into the chart that during the reign of 1509 to 1547, Henry VIII is only the followed sequence written by Shakespeare. Henry VIII, the last play by Shakespeare, history play by Shakespeare. Now we are going to discuss about some of the important tragedies that Shakespeare has written. We will discuss about the themes, the setting, and the characters, and the tone or the action of the play. The first example I quoted is Tragedy of King Richard III. Actually the title of the play is Richard III. The full title of the play is Tragedy of King Richard III. If you look at the tone of that play, tone is of the condemnation and disgust towards Richard, combined with fascination with the mind of power hungry psychopath. Now King Richard wanted to become a king